Why, gentlemen, gather round and let me tell you something that'll knock the cobwebs clean out of your thinking cap. You've been led astray, hoodwinked into believing that women are nothing but magpies chasing shiny trinkets like looks, wealth, or status. And that's precisely why so many fine men spend their days scratching their heads and wondering, why in thunderation isn't she falling for me? Well, let me save you some grey hairs. It's because you're barking up the wrong tree entirely. Now, today's your lucky day because I'm here to share 8 undeniable traits. Traits so irresistible, so magnetic, that they'll have women coming to you like moths to a porch light on a summer's night. And don't worry, I'm not selling you snake oil or tall tales about faking it until you make it. No, sir. These traits are about transformation, about becoming a man of substance, character, and quiet power. A man they simply can't resist. Here's where I need you to chip in. Before we start digging for gold, drop a comment below and tell me which trait you believe makes a man irresistible. I'm keen to hear your thoughts because as far as I can tell, wisdom doesn't always flow in one direction. And while you're at it, hit that like button. Not for my sake, mind you, but for yourself. So YouTube knows you're a man who appreciates a hard truth and the tools to better his life. So stick around, gentlemen. By the end of this here lesson, you'll have yourself the keys to the kingdom, the secrets to turning heads and winning hearts without playing games or losing your dignity. Let's begin. 1. Confidence without arrogance. Let me tell you, fellas, confidence is a lot like good whiskey. Smooth, strong, and it doesn't need to announce itself when it enters the room. It just is. Now, don't get this confused with arrogance, because that's nothing but watered down moonshine in a fancy bottle. It's loud, it burns going down, and it leaves everyone wishing they'd ordered something else. Real confidence, on the other hand, is quiet, like a man who knows he can win the fight but doesn't feel the need to swing first. Picture yourself walking into a room. You don't stomp around, puff out your chest, or yell to make sure folks know you're there. No, you just belong. Your stride says you've been through storms and come out dry. Your shoulders tell tales of burdens carried without complaint. That's the kind of man people notice without him ever needing to raise his voice. Now, I know what you're thinking. How in blazes do I get that kind of confidence? Well, son, it's earned, not gifted. Confidence doesn't grow from compliments or applause. It grows in the quiet corners of your life where you face your fears head-on. You get it by tackling hard work, failing a little, dusting yourself off, and trying again. Every time you do something difficult and come out the other side, you're forging another link in the chain of your character. And when that chain's strong enough, you won't need anyone else to hold you up. Women can spot a confident man a mile away. He's the one who doesn't scramble to impress, doesn't need to dominate the conversation, and couldn't care less if everyone likes him or not. He doesn't brag about his victories because they speak for themselves. He doesn't shout about his worth because it's already understood. He's comfortable with silence, content to let the world come to him because he knows he doesn't need to chase anything or anyone. So next time you're in a room full of people, do yourself a favor. Say less. Be still. Listen more than you speak. Don't fill the air with noise just to feel important. Let your presence work like gravity, and you'll find folks naturally leaning in, drawn to something they can't quite explain. Confidence isn't about proving you're the biggest dog in the yard. It's about knowing you are and letting the rest of the world figure it out for themselves. 2. Emotional intelligence and empathy. Now here's something they didn't teach you when you were busy learning to man up and swallow your feelings like bitter medicine. Emotional intelligence isn't weakness. It's a superpower. Women, God bless them, aren't looking for a man carved from stone, sitting silently on a pedestal. They want someone who feels, someone who understands the unspoken, hears the words that aren't said, and knows when to simply sit still in the storm of emotion and be there. You see, most men have this hero complex. The moment a woman shares her troubles, they strap on their imaginary cape and leap into fix-it mode like they're saving the day. But here's the kicker. She doesn't need you to swing in and solve the problem. 9 times out of 10, she just wants you to sit down, close your mouth, and listen. You'd be amazed at the wonders. A simple, "That sounds really tough. I'm sorry you're dealing with that." Can do. Emotional intelligence isn't rocket science. It's about slowing down, paying attention, and tuning in. You don't need to offer grand speeches or fortune cookie wisdom. Just be present. Most men are too busy trying to win the conversation to realize the real victory lies in understanding. Think of it this way. A woman's emotions are like a river. She doesn't need you to build a dam or reroute it. She just needs you to step into the water with her for a moment and feel the current. When you can reflect her feelings back, I hear you, and I understand why that's hard. It's like offering her a lifeboat. She doesn't want a problem solver. She wants a partner who makes her feel seen. Men who master this rare skill don't just stand out, they stay. Because once you prove you can handle her emotions with grace and steadiness, you've shown you're a man who can handle her life. And that, my friends, is where the magic truly begins. 3. Ambition and drive. Let me tell you something plain and simple. Ambition, true, honest-to-God ambition, is one of the finest things a man can carry in his pocket. I'm not talking about chasing dollar bills like a raccoon after shiny trinkets. Nor do I mean bragging about some big house you can't afford, or a car that roars louder than your personality. No, sir. I'm talking about having a purpose. A fire burning so bright inside you that even the darkest nights can't snuff it out. A man with ambition walks different. He talks different. There's a glint in his eye that says, "I know where I'm going, and by thunder, I'll get there whether you're coming with me or not." Women see that glint, and let me tell you, it draws them in like moths to a lantern. You don't need to be sitting on a throne to earn her respect. You just need to be marching toward one with grit in your boots and a vision in your mind. Here's the funny thing. It's not the outcome she cares about. It's not the trophy on the shelf or the title on the desk. It's the energy, the stubborn, relentless drive of a man who refuses to accept mediocrity. It's the way you lean into challenges, the way you get knocked down, dust yourself off and say, "Is that all you've got?" That, my friend, is a man worth noticing. And no, you don't have to be a king just yet. Maybe you're still building your castle out of bricks and prayers. Maybe your dreams are scribbled on the back of an old napkin. That's fine, if you're working toward it. Because nothing sours the air like a man who spends his days sitting on the porch, whining about a world he's too lazy to conquer. So here's what you do. Pick a goal, any goal. Big or small, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's learning a new skill, launching that side business you've been yammering about, or finally getting in shape so you can outrun Father Time. Find something to chase, and then chase it like your life depends on it, because, in a way, it does. A man without purpose is like a ship without a sail. He drifts aimlessly until he sinks. But a man with purpose? Well, that's a man she'll follow to the ends of the earth, because even if the road gets bumpy, at least he knows where it leads. 4. Humor and playfulness. Let me tell you something, fellas. If life is a battle, then humor is the sharpest sword in your armory. And it ain't about cracking perfect jokes like some slick-haired stage comedian. It's about playfulness, about seeing life for the ridiculous circus it is, and learning to laugh along with the clowns. Because women, my friends, don't want a man who sulks through his days like a rain-soaked mule. They want the man who can take life's mishaps, shake them off, and turn them into something worth smiling about. Imagine this. You're caught in some awkward mess, a spilled drink, a missed bus, or a moment where the words came out all wrong. A lesser man might huff, puff, and curse his luck, but not you. You chuckle, shrug, and say something like, "Well, I guess my dignity had other plans today." And suddenly, what could have been a disaster becomes a shared joke, a light moment in an otherwise heavy world. That's the magic of playfulness, my friend. It turns trials into laughter and strangers into allies. It's proof that you don't take yourself too seriously, and women adore that because life is serious enough without you acting like a courtroom judge every minute of the day. A man who can laugh at himself tells the world, "I've got my feet planted on this earth, and no gust of trouble can knock me over." That kind of confidence makes you downright irresistible. You see, humor isn't just about making her laugh. It's about letting her breathe. It's about showing her that in a world of storms, you're the man with an umbrella and a grin. And you don't need a wit sharp enough to cut glass. Just be authentically you. Light-hearted, playful, and unafraid to look a little foolish now and then. So, next time life throws you a curveball, don't scowl. Smirk. Make a joke. Let her see you navigate the bumps with a twinkle in your eye. Make her laugh, and she'll remember you. Keep her laughing, and son, she'll never want to leave. 5. Stability and dependability. Let's talk about stability, gentlemen. Real stability, not the kind that comes from having a fat wallet or a shiny car. No, I'm talking about the stuff that's carved out of stone, emotional stability. The kind that says, come hell or high water, I'm not about to topple over like a two-legged bar stool. You see, women don't want a man who shivers in his boots at every bump in the road. Life is chaotic enough without having to deal with a fella whose mood swings faster than a barn door in a tornado. What they're looking for, what they crave, is a man who can stare down the storms of life, tip his hat, and say, "Is that all you've got?" Picture this. The bills are stacking up, the dog's sick, and it's raining on a day you planned a picnic. Are you pacing the room like a cat on hot bricks? Or are you the one saying, "We'll figure it out," with a steady voice and a half smile? A man who's grounded, who's calm when the world's throwing a fit, is worth his weight in gold. Stability is about proving that you're a man who's got himself together. You wake up with a plan. You show up when you say you will. And you don't let life's little tempests blow you off course. Set routines, build discipline, and above all, be someone who keeps his word. Because in a world full of broken promises, a dependable man is rarer than a four-leaf clover. So be her constant. Be the rock she can hold on to when the waters rise. Because, my friend, when you're steady, reliable, and unshakable, she won't just admire you, she'll never want to let go. 6. Passion and enthusiasm. Passion, gentlemen, is the spark that turns a man into something more than just skin, bone, and a paycheck. It's the fire in your belly that makes the world lean in and say, "Now there's someone worth watching." Women don't want a man who drifts through life like a piece of driftwood, bumping into whatever the tide brings his way. They want a man who's alive, who's got that glimmer in his eye, like he's just seen something worth chasing. Now, passion doesn't mean you've got to climb mountains or paint masterpieces, though by all means go ahead. It's about how you feel when you're doing something that lights you up. Maybe it's woodworking in your garage, cooking up the best steak this side of Texas, or getting lost in a book that no one else has heard of. Whatever it is, it's yours, and you do it even if no one else cared. That kind of enthusiasm, it's contagious. It spills out of you, fills the room, and makes people want to stick around just to catch a little of it. Women see that passion, and they think, if he feels this way about life, imagine how he'll make me feel. So find your fire, stoke it, and don't be afraid to let it burn bright. A man who's passionate about his own life doesn't need to beg for attention. He becomes someone unforgettable. And trust me, that's a man she'll never forget. 7. Mystery and independence. Mystery, the fine art of not being an open book, but instead a story with a few pages missing. You see, men tend to think they need to spill everything up front, as if winning a woman's favor is a courtroom deposition. But where's the fun in that? A man without a little mystery is like a magician who shows you how the rabbit got into the hat, entirely unremarkable. Women, bless their curious hearts, love a puzzle. Not the kind that's impossible to solve, mind you, but the kind that keeps them guessing just enough to lean in a little closer. Leave her a trail of breadcrumbs, not the whole loaf. Share parts of yourself bit by bit. Let her discover you, instead of tossing your entire life story onto the table like yesterday's leftovers. And independence? Well, that's the root of it. Have your own world, your own passions, your own time. A man who's self-sufficient doesn't chase after someone to complete him. He's already whole. And that's what makes him so darn fascinating. Remember this, a man with mystery doesn't play games. He simply knows his worth. And like the last piece of a jigsaw puzzle, she'll want to fit into your life, just to see the full picture. 8. Physical presence and charisma. Charisma. Now there's a word that's as misunderstood as a porcupine in a balloon shop. You see, some men think charisma is about strutting into a room like a rooster with a new set of feathers, shouting to be seen. But let me tell you, real charisma is quieter, sharper, and far more effective. It's not about being the loudest, it's about being the most felt. The one who walks in, stands tall, and commands attention without demanding it. Charisma is a mix of how you carry yourself and how you make others feel. Picture a man who strides into a room, not like he owns it, but like he belongs there. There's no desperate energy, no puffing up his chest like he's got something to prove. He simply stands tall, calm, and at ease, as if the world is his living room and everyone's welcome to stay a while. Women notice these things. They notice the man who moves deliberately, who doesn't fidget nervously with his hands or shuffle his feet like he's lost a poker game. They notice the man who makes eye contact, Not in a creepy, I'm memorizing your face for later way, but in a confident, I see you and I'm right here kind of way. That's physical presence, and it speaks louder than 1,000 words ever could. And then there's the way you talk. Gentlemen, if you're rushing your words or mumbling into your shoes, you're throwing charisma right out the window. Speak slow and sure, as if you've thought about what you're saying, because a man who thinks before he speaks is rare enough to be valuable. Women don't just hear words, they feel them. So when you speak, let your voice be steady, let your tone be warm, and let your silence carry weight. Now, let's not forget appearances, because while looks don't make the man, effort does. You don't need to look like a movie star, but you do need to look like you respect yourself. Wear clothes that fit you well, stand up straight, and keep yourself tidy. A man who takes care of his appearance sends a message loud and clear. I'm worth something. So next time you walk into a room, slow yourself down, plant your feet firm, lift your head high, and let that quiet self-assurance radiate outward. Charisma isn't a performance. It's the natural result of a man who's comfortable in his own skin. And when a man is comfortable with himself, women can't help but lean in to find out why. Well, there you have it. The 8 traits that transform an ordinary man into someone unforgettable. But let me tell you a little secret, my friend. Knowing these traits is like holding a treasure map without ever setting foot on the journey. The real magic lies in doing. And the best time to start? It's not tomorrow or next Monday or when the stars align just so. It's right now. Take a moment and ask yourself, which of these traits is calling your name? Is it confidence? Emotional intelligence? Maybe it's finding that fire inside you, that passion that'll make your life burn brighter. Whatever it is, don't just sit there nodding. Grab that trait like a man who's just found a lifeline and start weaving it into the fabric of your daily life. But let me make this clear. This isn't about impressing anyone else. This is about you. These habits aren't tricks to charm women. They're tools to elevate your life, to make you proud of the man staring back at you in the mirror. And let me tell you, when you invest in yourself like that, the rest of the world can't help but notice. Now, here's your next step. Head down to the comments and tell me which trait you're starting with. Maybe it's something you've been meaning to tackle for a while. Or maybe it's a new challenge that excites you. Write it down. Speak it into existence. Then subscribe and hit that notification bell, because I've got plenty more wisdom and laughs coming your way to keep you sharp on this path of becoming the best version of yourself. Here's the truth. The man you want to be is already inside you, waiting. The only thing standing between him and the life he deserves is your decision to act. So stand tall, take that first step, and let the transformation begin. The world's waiting, my friend. Go show it what you're made of.